Hey loves. Spirit wanted me to share this message. I got it today while I was at work, and it just has been kind of like pounding at me throughout the day, and I just got the download for it, so I wanted to share it because it is for the community, for the spiritual community, specifically targeting the astro community. So I hope that this message reaches you guys well. And the message is really to be very mindful of who you are sharing your natal chart with. And the reason for that is because your natal chart is your map to your life. It shows where you're going, where you have been, why you've gone through things, why the energy of something it's in your life. It shows traumas that you are probably going to be facing and healing. It really kind of unloads a lot of secrets and a lot of things about you. So you don't want to just hand your map to anybody, okay? And that's really where you kind of have to really ponder and think about and be mindful about who you share your birth chart with. And I know that this is huge on Twitter, and for the most part it is huge on Instagram as well, where people just like put like their big three, which is fine. I mean, you could share your big three, your sun, moon, and rising, that's fine, but don't expose the entirety of your chart. It is not wise to do so. And I feel like there's some, especially for those who have like the more withdrawing type of placements, like if you're a Virgo, if you're a Scorpio, if you tend to be like a little bit more withdrawn, even if you're a Capricorn as well, you might not feel inclined to share so many things about yourself. And maybe you don't know why you shouldn't have, but this is another reason why, if you wanted to add why you don't share with people your chart information, you can add this as one of the big ones, because nowadays you have people who are combining different modalities with astrology and spirituality and witchcraft in different practices. And if you practice hoodoo, you know that we use the planetary hours in hoodoo. We work with the planets, we work with energies. So when you're looking at those two and you are already like well versed in one, and then you're like coming into the other one, you start to realize really quickly that, hey, you can combine this. And this is when you get really advanced into doing spell work and working with your placements. But then you're like, okay, well, I know this other person's placements and like they did me dirty. You can literally have, if somebody has your chart, they can take your whole map, see, oh, this person's going to be in a really good position on this time, or they're going to be really weak on this time, and just infuse their magic and add to the detriment or your weaker aspects and make them a lot heavier than they need to be. Okay, we need to be very mindful of who we're sharing our life map with. Everybody doesn't need to know that information. We need to be more mindful of the fact that our spiritual journey is our personal spiritual journey. We don't all walk it together. There's levels that we see each other in, and that we reflect each other in, and that we see synchronicities in. However, we do not need to all hold each other's hand at once and go through every single thing at once. That's not a thing, okay? So you need to be very mindful of who you're giving your chart information to. Even if they're an astrologer who practices, you make sure that you like their vibe, that you're cool with them, you have a connection to this person. Don't just go willy-nilly give your chart or let people look at it or whatever, because once they have that information, you just gave them your map. And like, if someone really has ill intent against you, you just give them your map. They know where you're going. They know what stops you're going to take on that train. They know why you need to stop on that train. And they can trip you up and possibly really kind of make you skim over some opportunities that you could have received just because you got tripped up. You know what I mean? Be very mindful of your enemies, okay? Be very mindful of who knows what of you. Be very mindful of who knows about your journey and what you're going through. Like, there's people who know you and claim to know you, and they will kind of use that to kind of fuel their own purposes. And nowadays, with everybody, like throwing hexes at witches left and right, someone knowing, like if somebody wanted to put a hex on you, like if I wanted to put a hex on you, and I knew your whole birth chart, you best be knowing that it would be astrologically synchronized to the hour to the T, okay? So, not that I'm going around doing that, but I'm just trying to prove a point. Okay, so just be mindful of who you share yourself with on that level, because that's the difference between having a conversation and someone sitting down and, you know, having space with someone, and then there's a difference with giving that other person your whole entire map. Okay, so be mindful. Don't you know, I wouldn't recommend it. I haven't, there's only like I can count the people who know my chart with less than my hand, and I always get asked this question on YouTube a lot, like, hey, what's your chart info, I think we have a similar placement or whatever. I really kind of, I talk about some of my placements here and there when I'm like explaining different placements. So especially if somebody else has a placement I have, I try to explain it and to make it relatable and stuff like that. But I don't go out of my way to share every single one of my placements, my aspects, my vertex point. Like, and if you have somebody's chart information, you can look up all that and just know when and why and how and like everything. Okay. So just be very mindful of that information. Don't give other people your map if they don't need to see it, okay? That's it. That was the message from Spirit. I hope that you received it well if you needed to hear it. If not, keep it moving, keep it pushing. Love ya. See you in the next video.